Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to Scatter Love Tarot with your girl coming at you with another pick a card reading. We are all here sharing this human experience together, and this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves. We do things differently here on this channel, so that being said, if it does resonate, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. Triggering statements may arise on the reading itself. There's no obligation to force it to fit, and keeping in mind that triggers are a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journey. If you're interested in supporting the channel further, you will find everything that you need below in the description box. So with that being said, today's reading is Who is Secretly Admiring You? Let's go ahead and hop to our prayer and we'll get your reading underway. All right. I don't know if you guys can hear the train in the background, but there's a train. I waited until after he honked to start the video. All right, my beloved source, this prayer is for anyone and everyone that comes onto this reading, whether it's for the entire time or for a moment's time. Sometimes wondering if we're enough. Worrying if we impact others in a positive way, or if we impact others at all. While we shouldn't focus on this, it's hard not to in this realm that is so connected and so concerned with how our neighbor observes us. But knowing that even if people aren't telling us that we are inspiring them, or that they admire us, or that they believe in us, that doesn't mean that there aren't people out there who are secretly cheering us on. And that doesn't mean that there aren't people out there who are supporting us in the best way that they know how, even if it's from the shadows. But sometimes it is scary to step forward and to tell someone you believe in them, especially if that's something that they haven't heard or that we haven't heard ourselves. Even though we want that to be a part of our lives, it's very difficult for us to give unto others what we don't give to ourselves. So today I ask that you help us lean into self-belief, self-accountability, self-acceptance, self-love, self-worth, the seeing of ourselves as enough as we are in this moment and as we are without change, knowing we are incredible and smart, amazing, wise, and capable of anything we put our minds to. And that when we see ourselves as this, then others will step forward and begin to see us in this way as well. It's our vibration first that then collides with other vibrations and affects them in either positive or negative ways. And through that, we elicit change in the world, knowing that we are but one drop has the power to still raise the ocean. As these words are spoken upon this tribe and onto this reading, so shall they be. Amen. Aho. Ase. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved source. Thank you. All right. So I felt called to using the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Oracle. I use this deck a lot, but I really do love it. Kim Kranz is such an amazing deck creator. She's an amazing author. I definitely highly recommend checking her out if you feel called to. But let's see. Who secretly admires you? Source, what oracle cards will help us better understand this message today? Who secretly admires you? Who secretly admires you? Okay, thank you. Who secretly admires you? All right. Pile 1. Who secretly admires you? What oracle card is going to help us better understand this message today, source? Okay, it's this one right here. Thank you. All All right, pile 2. Who secretly admires you? Source, what oracle card is going to help us better understand this message today? Thank you. All right, pile number 3. Who secretly admires you? Thank you. Really quickly. You're ready, pile 3. You are ready to hear your message. All right. We have zebra as a collective message on the bottom. You know, anytime I see black and white, it makes me feel this energy of finding balance. You know, not having too much of one or the other, but finding that balance. And as you continue to find that balance, you actually stand out. Even though maybe you can't tell zebras apart when you see them in the herd. Maybe you can't say, oh, that's LaQuanda, or that's Jerome, or that's Sally, or that's Billy, or that's, you know, whoever. Maybe it's difficult to see that. But the more that you balance yourself, the more you stand out, and the more that people admire that balance, because that energy is affecting them, right? It's giving them space. It's giving them a reason to step into their own authenticity. And so right now, as a collective, someone who admires you, who's secretly admiring you, is desperately trying to blend in with the crowd. They do not want to stand out. They do not want to be seen right now. They're definitely cheering you on from the backgrounds, from the shadow, because they want to see you succeed. They want to see good things happen for you. They want to be the one that shares in those wins. But I feel like there's a distance here that's keeping you from them, or keeping them from you. And that distance doesn't necessarily have to be physical distance. This could be spiritual distance. This could be emotional distance. This could be any kind of distance. Or there's some sort of barrier here. And yet, intuitively, they continue to get drawn to you time and time and time and time again. So this could be someone that you might work with who's trying to blend in with all the other employees, but they make sure that in the group meetings, they're always sitting in a space where they can see you and observe you. Or this is someone that you see on the regular for whatever routines that you have, maybe at the gym, and they've never talked to you, but they admire your consistency. You might notice this is someone who's always at the gym, but again, trying to blend in. So there might be a group of people who are always at the gym. It's one of the people in this group, and they're always like, yeah, hey, you're here. I'm so glad you're here. It doesn't have to be that, you know, crazy. It could be at the grocery store. It could be at your favorite restaurant, maybe you go to once a week, or it could be in your neighborhood, a neighbor. But this is someone who's desperately trying to blend in, who is trying not to be seen. And let's get some more information. Let's see what else this says here. All right, zebra. We have elefante. Okay, we're on the lion and the zebra. Okay. Oh, I love this. This is someone who's eccentric, creative, and a visionary. Zebras are the most precious of gems. They are young at heart, well-cultured, and have an undying curiosity about life. Being in the company of a zebra personality is not only a delight, but also opens our minds. Be prepared. Their potent magic is contagious, and you may soon find yourself in a faraway land. Wasn't I saying, like, distance separates you too? Expanding your worldview while having a blast. Zebras also like to contribute to the global health through environmental or volunteer work. This card may be a hint to pack your bags. When in balance, you're worldly, enthusiastic, and fashion-forward. When out of balance, they can be jaded, pouty, and vain. To bring into balance, take an epic adventure or art. Yeah, so this is really powerful, because I feel like this is someone who also, right, trying to blend in. Maybe you have some sort of online presence, or, you know, it's someone who's from across the world, or they come from across the world. So this could be someone that you work with that moved here from a different country, and they really, really are inspired by you. and they admire you, and they also see you as someone who is very precious and very unique and very just an overall a very beautiful soul, and they're really truly honored. But again, trying to blend in, I get this energy, they really want to blend in, and this is who's secretly admiring you right now as a collective. Okay. Now, as I put these together here, I did choose one of the zodiac dice I was called to today. Now, if you're a Capricorn, as that's what came out, and you feel drawn to that, that is perfectly okay. But just know that it's not just for Capricorns, okay? This is for anybody that feels drawn to it. It was just one other thing to choose from. I also feel like Capricorn comes out quite a lot when I do the zodiac dice, which is kind of funny, but, you know, that's life. Okay. All right, so for pile 1, we have this dice with the moon for you to choose from. Or we have this arrowhead. Pile number 2, we have this dice with Capricorn on it. Or we have this piece of red jasper. And for pile 3, we have this dice with the 7th house on it. Or we have this rock. Okay, so pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3, whichever pile you feel called to, that should be the one for you, and I will see you over there. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with the moon on it, or perhaps you were called to this arrowhead, or maybe you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be a reading on who is secretly admiring you. We are all here sharing this human experience. This is a safe space to share this experience together. I'm getting tongue-tied here. I feel like someone definitely gets tongue-tied when they are watching you and they're admired by their, wow, I can't get it out. I'm going to get there, guys. Let me try that again. We'll get into the channel message, which is starting right away. Someone here is really tongue-tied, and I feel like they admire you, but they can't say they admire you. But we're all here sharing this human experience together. This is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves. We do things differently here. So with that being said, if the message resonates, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And just know that triggering statements may arise on the reading themselves. There's no obligation to force it to fit. But keeping in mind that triggers are a beautiful blueprint for us to also deepen our healing journey. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's find out who's secretly admiring you. This tongue-tied person who cannot get their words straight. So who is secretly admiring you, pile number 1? Who is secretly admiring you? Source, what would you like to come forth? Yeah, I just feel like this is someone who, they know what they want to say, But if they approach you, or even if they aren't able to talk to you physically and they want to send you some sort of message, this is someone who they will write things down, delete them, write things down, delete them. This is someone who, if they approach you, they might stutter a lot all of a sudden. Like, it's not that this person even has a stutter, but they're trying to talk to you and they have this stutter, or they say things that are so silly, like you say, "How are you?" and they're like, "The sky is blue." And they're like, "Wait, what the heck just came out?" Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's because they get so tongue-tied and they admire you so much. So let's see if we can tap into who this person might be. Yeah, okay, we have the 8th house. We have Gemini energy and the sun. This could be a Scorpio. This could be a Gemini. This could be Leo energy. Aries in the 1st house is coming through. And remember, the zodiacs can resonate with you as well. They don't have to just resonate with other people, because you might not even know this person's zodiac sign or anything about them. So if it comes through and you're like, "Oh, hey, that sounds like me," then just know that that's just confirmation for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this to zoom in. Who is secretly admiring you? This person's really secretive, for sure, with the 8th house here. Under wraps, admiring you from the shadows. I also get the energy that this is someone who is incredibly wealthy. Like, not just monetary wealth. This is someone who also has spiritual wealth, emotional wealth, physical wealth, as in like family and friends. They're surrounded by a lot of love and a lot of people cherish them. This is someone who could be a speaker with Gemini energy here. They are normally, this is something that really baffles them, right? I was talking about getting tongue-tied at the beginning. And it really baffles them because usually they are very elegant. They are very articulate in the way that they approach people. They are able to say what it is that they want in a very clear, concise, direct, succinct manner. But when it comes to you, they totally go stupid. And they cannot even get their tongue to move in the right way. They're just stumbling over themselves, and they feel like they are acting a complete fool when they're around you or when they're trying to talk to you. And to them, it's just something that, like, they're not used to that, because they're used to shining in the spotlight with the way that they speak, with the way that they talk. And this is someone who could hold very high up meetings. Again, I'm getting this energy of someone who's incredibly wealthy. But wealth does not have to be monetary at all. It could be, but it doesn't have to be. But this is someone who just understands their worth and their value. And this is someone who gets really nervous when they get around you, and they try to adapt and change, and they try to be fluid when they're around you, but there's a lot of like fears that arise. Like, I feel like you definitely tap into a deeper sense of who they are when you're with them or when you're around them, and it scares them that you could know them without them ever having to say anything. So you see their soul, right? This is like looking into someone's eyes and seeing the soul of who they are and knowing who they are. And this is also someone who's just really comfortable with being in the spotlight. Like, they're super comfortable being in the spotlight. And then in walks pile number 1, and suddenly they want to curl up under the first stone that they see, because holy moly, I cannot... It's not even a compete thing, but it's going to come out that way. Like, I can't compete with pile number 1, but it's not about competition. They're not trying to compete with you at all. They are just so blinded by your light and your love and your warmth and your kindness and your intelligence that they are just... Like, I keep seeing, what is that, like when the cartoons, they like adjust their throats but then their tongue hangs out the side? Like, that's what it feels like here. Like, I just don't know what to do. I'm gonna adjust my throat, but I can't even get my tongue to move. And it's a really interesting energy. I feel like this is someone who has incredibly mysterious looking eyes. This is someone who has like either very, very deep blue is coming through, or incredibly like they have brown or like dark. It's dark. So even if they have colored eyes, like their eyes are like on the darker spectrum. So like instead of having like sky blue eyes, they have like deep ocean blue eyes, or just really dark blue eyes. Or if they have green eyes, it's not like bright green eyes. They have really deep, almost like grass colored green eyes. And if they have brown eyes, it's like a very almost black, right? Like that's what it is. And this is like, I'm getting this sense of like tall, dark, and handsome, or tall, dark, and beautiful. They're very tall. They may be very slender. They don't have to be, but they give that energy of just extreme confidence wherever they go until they're with you. And the minute that you're in the room, they're like, well, so, but they do secretly admire you, and they admire your strength, and they admire your ability to overcome obstacles. There's something here that you're sharing somewhere. Okay, so it's either they're hearing your story through the grapevine and they want to know more, or they're seeing your story unfold in, you know, real time. You know, it could be like a neighbor or something like that. And so they get like tidbits of your life that not everybody would have access to. Or this is someone who hears your story when you're talking to close friends, like at work or something like that. Or you're sharing your story on social media. Who is secretly admiring pile number 1? Pile 1, who's secretly admiring you? Yeah, this is someone who they're their own downfall because they take things so incredibly slow. Who's secretly admiring you, pile 1? Yeah, they take things really slow. So it's like, I feel like if they were potential romantic interest, this is someone who would have like a 5-year long engagement, because that's how slow they take things. Like, they're not in a rush for anything. Who's secretly admiring you? And that's just an example. If this is like a friendship or connection material, they're gonna wait until, you know, the perfect time comes to meet you, which we all know the perfect time doesn't exist, but for them, that's how they're looking at it, right? Yeah. There's someone who has overcome a lot in their own life. I also feel like this is someone who uses comedy or humor as a way to just, it's their way of overcoming the hardships, right? Like they really rely on their humor. That's why I feel like they're very graceful in the way that they speak. They've learned very good delivery methods for stories, for jokes, for speeches, for whatever. This is someone who they present themselves 100% of the time. And it's not that they're inauthentic in that presentation. They're actually incredibly authentic to who they are, but they have learned how to get rid of the ums and the ahs. They've turned pauses into edge of your seat, hold on, waiting for their next word. This is someone who is just very elegant in the way that they talk. They have an extensive vocabulary. This is someone who is used to being able to talk to people in a way to where they can get what they're asking for. Like, they could be in sales, they could be in marketing. I wanted to say manipulate, but it's not really manipulation. This is someone who could sell sand to a person walking in the desert, right? That's the type of energy they have, or snow to an Eskimo, right? That's the energy that's coming in. They're just really a smooth talker. And again, coming back to, it's like you're their weakness, and that makes them even more inspired by you, and I admire you even more because they've never met anybody that's been able to render them silent in the way that you have. Yeah, definitely a boss here. Yeah, I love these confirmations. they've had to rely on their networking. So this is someone that you could have met through some sort of network, right? They've had to rely on that. And that's been their coming up in the world. They also could be someone that owns their own business, or they make money in a very unconventional way. They've had to deal with people who are incredibly greedy and who use them to step up in the world in a very unfair way. This could be someone who's written a book. They don't have to, but that's a really, really strong thing that's coming through. This could also be someone that just, again, is sharing their story. And that's how you met. Maybe you connected with them online, or something about them really drew you to them and you reached out to them. And that's how they meet people, is through networking like that. Yeah, here's the thing, like, they're used to people putting them in a box. And I feel like even though they may struggle to talk around you, you've always given them space. And not just space, but you've given them freedom to be who they are. And so a lot of things that surround this person have been rather negative, and they've had to learn how to overcome them. And when they see you, they have hope. They have hope that things will get better. Better days are going to come. And they feel like, so you are dangerous to them in a way. And yet they can't help but be completely awestruck by you. And when I say that, it's not like you're going to physically harm them or anything like that. It's just, like when someone's dangerously sexy, or when someone is dangerously funny, or when someone, it's just those things like, you could present trouble in my life, and it could be really fun trouble, and I wouldn't mind that at all. But it was definitely something that would cause an upset in my normal routine. And that's why they admire you. And I feel like they admire you in the sense that you're someone who's just very free-spirited, versus them. They're so poised and they're so put together. And for you, you're just you. And it's maybe you wear really frilly clothes, or maybe you are more like comfort styles, like jeans and a t-shirt all the way, whether it's top level meeting or coffee shop meeting. Like, you could just always be super comfortable. I'm hearing someone here wear sandals every day. And everything about you is so opposite to them that they can't help but admire the freedom that you exude in your day-to-day life. And every time they see you, it's not that they wish they could be you, it's just they admire that about you, and they only feel like it belongs with you. Okay, so it's not about being you, it's about, I am admiring you because of you being who you are, and I appreciate that, and I think that's really cool. I heard someone here does cosplay. So maybe this is someone you met at a convention somewhere, or you could have met at a convention that's not cosplay, right? Like any kind of convention like that. And you guys happen to run into each other here and there whenever another convention comes up. So the networking card is coming through really strongly, right? Just feels like you guys met through a networking situation. Yin energy, we have Taurus, Cancer, Virgo, Scorpio, Capricorn, and Pisces. Intuition, trust, patience, spirituality, and receptivity. Didn't I say that they could admire you spiritually as well? So I do feel like they see you as someone who's incredibly intuitive. And for them, they are more driven by the physical world, and knowing that you are able to just be the little fairy that you are. And it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, and I'm not calling you any names here. What I'm saying is just that, like, you're this free little fairy spirit who enjoys life. And I feel like you had to learn how to do that on your own, right? Aside from life and aside from problems and troubles and heartbreak and hurt. And they feel at times like if they were to come to you with their poised and direct attitude or their poised and direct manner, that you just quickly flit away and they would never have a chance to get to know you deeper. And that is also something that they admire, because normally this person intimidates people. And I feel like they don't intimidate you because you don't feel like you need to be intimidated by people. Okay, so they could be a Sagittarius. You could also be a Sagittarius. But again, coming to that energy, that free energy. I love this confirmation. Thank you so much, Source. We have optimism, exploration, and freedom. And I feel like that's really profound because it's just showing you're just this adventurer. You like to go and do your thing and be who you are. And you're not held by strict policies in the world, and I feel like they may have to adhere to strict policies because of who they are. Okay, so we have Southern Cassowary, which is spread seeds of love and creativity and see them blossom. Oh, I love this message. They admire how loving and kind you are. You give. Everywhere you go, you give. You spread seeds of love and creativity. You're a very creative person, very artistic. I just heard someone say artsy fartsy. Okay, so that could be you. That could have been this person calls you artsy fartsy in a very loving way. Okay, it's not, again, they admire you. They're secretly admiring you. This person just sees you and is like, wow, I really admire Pile 1. And that's something they really admire. Like, you just don't hold back on the love that you give. You're willing to go out of your way to give this love, regardless if people receive it or not, but you're still giving this love. And it's a very powerful thing. On the bottom, we have the ruby-throated hummingbird with take courage and the world will reward you with your bounty. Yeah, they admire your courage and your beauty. You stand out. Again, the red throat, right? Ruby-throated hummingbird. It's like they get choked up when they see you. They can't speak clearly the way that they normally would. And that baffles them. They're like, what? How come it's Pile 1 that always gets me like this? And so they can't help but be so deeply intrigued by you and admire you because no one else has done that to them. In fact, usually they're the one that's making people, you know, like, and yet here's Pile 1 and I can't do that. I can't be that. Scribe. Didn't I say someone could be an author here, written a book? Wow. We have preserving knowledge and information. The shadow is alerting facts or altering facts and plagiarizing others' work. Wow, this is very telling. So there's a story that's being shared here from someone. That could be you, that could be them, that's how you guys met, or it's through the grapevine. But I do feel like that's really telling that came out when I kept getting this energy that it feels like someone's written a book here. You could have, maybe you're the person who's written the book and that's how you guys met. Perseverance. Yeah, it's how you overcome. They secretly admire how you overcome things. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. Like, nothing seems to get you down. Maybe they've seen you face to face with some really difficult trials and you still come away smiling and confident and courageous and you don't let it bother you. And that's why they secretly admire you. Yeah, service, how you help others. I feel good when I can help others. They secretly admire how much you give to others. Love and light. Oh, look at this. I didn't know this was on the bottom. This fell out. It was loneliness. I know that I'm never alone. And I feel like that's the other thing that they admire too. Maybe you're single or maybe you don't have, you know, people in your life like that. Friends and family. Maybe you do a lot of things by yourself. But it never seems to weigh on you like it does other people. You're not out here trying to fill some roles just to have the sake of the role filled. You're living your best life because that's what you want to do. Yeah, you're very, very fluid. You have a lot of fluid energy about you. You go with the flow. You're not trying to fit in where everybody else fits in. That's just not who you are. And that's why this person secretly admires you. I feel like I want to get one of these. All right. So who is this person? Can you tell us some more, source? Craze. Reconnect with yourself. Okay, so this is someone who's felt disconnected from, the energy that I'm getting. They've been really bored with the world. Like, they're really clever, they're really smart, they're really intelligent. They are the ones that have been able, like I said, it's that manipulation that's coming through, but it's not really manipulation. They've just learned how to talk in a way that people respond. And you can say that's manipulation, but they're not out here doing it for malicious reasons. Like, they're just, it has to do with their job, or it has to do with them in their up and coming place, or whatever it is. And they've learned how to do that, and they just know how to say certain things. They know how to be, and they've mastered the art of conversation. And they felt disconnected from themselves for a long time, but you have given them a reason to not be so bored with the world anymore. And that's why they're secretly admiring you. This is someone who may seem very disconnected or very disassociated when you talk to them or when you see them. Oh, we have an addict here. Interesting. Helps you recognize and confront addictive behavior. The shadow compromises integrity and honesty, allows an addictive pattern to have authority over your inner spirit. Okay, so with this coming out, honestly, I'm getting this energy that this person has become addicted to the way they feel when you're around them, but not so much so that they want to be a total creeper about it either. So they take what they can get. But they definitely are like refreshing your page, or they are trying to find ways to connect with you in the best way possible. That's what they're doing. Yeah, growth. You've actually given them reason to grow and to expand and evolve. You may have also realized this is someone who's recently grown quite a bit in the spiritual sense or in the emotional sense. Cardinal. Bright new beginnings ahead. Yeah, you make them feel out of this world. They feel like even though you both have had completely different paths in life, that somehow that you guys have converged and you've learned very similar lessons. And that's something that helps them really use whatever lessons you share, whatever knowledge and wisdom you share. It gives them the reason to use that for their own growth and their own journey. So we're going to take a look at this card. I'm going to read this one from the book. Lamb. So I'm saying, like, I don't get that this person is, like, they're not malicious. They're actually a very quiet, calm person, but their presence is massive. And, sometimes the lamb can be louder than a lion. And it's just depending on how one is embracing themselves and what they choose to see themselves as. And this person sees the strength in the silence and in the softness. And I feel like that's something that they also secretly admire about you, is that you also exude the strength in the softness. And it's something that they mastered some time ago, and that's probably why they became bored with life, because not a lot of people are able to master that. And this person has an innocent side to them. Like, you might think that they're very worldly, or they're very connected, or, like, again, going through networking and stuff, or that they have tons of people that they're talking to, but they don't. They're just seem that way. And it's not that they're trying to put on a front. It's just that's what they've always embodied as that. They're actually incredibly authentic, but people always misread this person. And it wouldn't surprise them if you had misread them too, but it's not something that they hold against you or anything like that. It's just they kind of get a tickle out of it because they're like, yeah, everybody thinks that I'm, this, that, or the other, and I'm really not. I'm not that person. Whew, I opened the windows today because it was absolutely beautiful outside, and now I am freezing. My hands are like ice. Okay. Yeah, I love this. Okay, so Lamb says peaceful, prophetic, and patient. They are a slow mover. This is someone who moves like mud, like earth. Okay. This lamb is the bearer of an important message. Its contents can only be heard when a deep level of quiet has been established. Lamb energy is the honest guidance you hear from an old friend, a young child, and sometimes a surprising stranger. Though the lamb's message may channel through another person, the wisdom resonates within you. It will repeat and reverberate until you listen. Approach this gentle creature with the utmost patience and reverence. Truth is a gift. Sit still, listen, and receive. So when in balance, it's knowingness and inner peace. When out of balance, it's quiet, timid, and concerned. And to bring into balance is meditation and to listen. And it's on page 77. And I feel like this is really telling because this person is actually incredibly spiritual too. They might not share that part of themselves with people, but I feel like you have been the prophet in their lives, and that's why they secretly admire you. And for them, you've given them a reason to lean into that patience and that slow moving energy. Like, we're not going anywhere fast, and we don't need to hurry to get somewhere because there's peace in knowing that every step truly matters. So this is someone who has a very large energy. They are in boss energy. They are very wealthy in many, many different ways. And they are just smitten with you. And again, it doesn't have to be romantic. They just really, really appreciate you for who you are. So this is what I see here for you, pile number one. If this felt like your reading, leave the shooting star emoji down below and say, as we wish upon a star, our dreams will come true and we'll draw near to the people who will help lift us up, even if that's in quiet. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box. I'd like to take this moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this very powerful and quiet reading today. And until next time, pile number one, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with Capricorn on it, and you do not have to be a Capricorn if you're drawn to this pile, it's just something extra to pick from. If you were drawn to this piece of red jasper, or perhaps you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be a reading on who is secretly admiring you. We're all here sharing this human experience together, and this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. We do things differently here on this channel, so that being said, if the message does resonate with you, it'd mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And triggering statements may arise on the reading themselves, but there's no obligation to force it to fit. And the reminder here is that triggers are a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our own healing journey. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hop to it and find out who is secretly admiring you, pile number two. Who is secretly admiring you, pile number two? Source, what would you like to share with us today? Who is secretly admiring pile number two? Okay, so we've got the 11th house. We have Gemini energy, and we have North Node, someone you were meant to meet. This is like a friend, is what this feels like. You're being admired by a friend. It could be an Aquarius, a Gemini. You could have North Node in Aquarius or Gemini or Leo or Sag. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this to focus here. Who is secretly admiring you? This is someone who would surprise you. they're admiring you. Because it doesn't seem like they admire much. It doesn't seem like they care about much either. Although they have a lot of friends. And maybe that's why, too, is they have a lot of friends. And it's like, well, how would they admire me when they have all these other incredible, cool, amazing friends? Or followers. Maybe they have a lot of followers and they follow you on social media or some sort of platform. It doesn't have to be, but it is coming through. Or they have followed you back on your Instagram or your Snapchat or your TikTok. And it's just kind of one of those things where you're like, this person is so connected and they have so many things going on and I just admire them so much. And they admire you for who you are and what you share and just the light that you bring and the love that you share. And I feel like, too, it's the way that you talk. It's the way that communication has been the thing of the reading today. It's all about communication. But they admire the way you communicate with them and with others. They're definitely observing other comments or other connections that you have. This was a destined meeting. This was somebody you were always going to meet. Like, there was no, oh, it happened by chance or it happened. No, like, this was not a coincidental meeting. You were meant to meet this person. Okay, you were meant to connect. They feel that way about you as well. They feel like we were meant to connect. We were meant to have this incredible, crazy connection that we have. And it's so profound and it's overwhelming, but it's so beautiful at the same time. This could be a twin. I'm not talking about twin flame. That's not what's coming through. They could be a twin, like a literal twin in life. They have a twin brother, a twin sister. I heard triplets as well. That's coming in. So this could be someone who's a triplet. This is a very, very direct and specific message. So this is not going to resonate with a lot of people, but that's something that's incredibly specific that's coming in. Or maybe you're a twin, like you have a twin brother or twin sister, or you could be a triplet. You know, and anything, like if even if it goes out to octuplets or whatever, it's just, that's what it feels like. There's definitely, like, maybe they're identical twins or they could be fraternal twins, but someone here is a twin. Wow, okay. But they just really admire the way that you show up for them. And, you know, I feel like they really value your friendship and they really value your connection. And maybe you've given them advice and maybe you haven't. Maybe they've given you advice and you have taken that to heart. But I feel there's this energy that's coming in where, you know, maybe they were struggling with something and you had some insight that they didn't consider. And when they considered your insight, it helped them really solve something. So this could be a family member too. It doesn't have to be, but it could be a family member. Yeah, I keep getting that energy. Someone's a twin here. Someone's a twin. And again, I'm not talking about twin. I'm talking about a literal twin. The true definition of a physical twin, not the spiritual definition, okay? So, who is secretly admiring you, pile number 2? Who is secretly admiring you? Yeah, I feel like they come off sometimes as cold or distant. And I feel like it would surprise you if they ever came forward and they said, man, I really admire you, pile 2. Your jaw would literally drop on the ground. Like, what? You? Really? What? Who secretly admires you, pile number 1? Or 2, I'm sorry, pile number 2. I kept looking at the 11, so I had 1 on the brain. You may have also resonated with pile 1. Who secretly admires you, pile 2? So there's a situation here that they've outgrown. And I feel like you're helping them with that. You're helping them, you're helping them begin again here. And I feel like you're the only person that they can talk to about some of the stuff that is coming up. Okay, like, if they were to go to the people they normally go to, they would either get laughed at or, like, no one would hear them. the way that you hear them, or the way that, and they wouldn't be seen the way that you see them. And they secretly admire that you make space and time for them because they recognize that you're very busy and you've got a lot going on. But I feel like they've been through something recently that was really difficult for them, and you helped them see it from a different perspective, which gave them the ability to overcome it in a way that they didn't know was possible. Yeah, the Seven of Wands in the reverse. They were feeling like everything was a lost cause here. And you made it seem like there's always an option. There's always a beginning. I feel like you also maybe came forward and told them, like, hey, you know, I know you've got a lot of people to talk to. I know you're surrounded by a lot of people, but I get it. Sometimes it's hard to talk to the people who are closest to us, and maybe you're struggling a little bit, and I just want you to know that I'm here for you too. And that left them feeling very supported in a way that they'd never felt before. I do feel like there's definitely contact here. There's definitely talking. It might not be constant or very consistent, but I do feel like there is talking here, and they just feel like you understand them, and that you give them advice or clarity in a way that no one has ever approached them before. And that's why they secretly admire you, is because the way you see the world is so vast. And for them, the people that they know in their life, the way they see their world, it's so small. Like, it has to fit into this bubble, or it has to be a certain way, or that they have to be a certain way. And when they come to you, you accept them as they are. Like, you're not trying to tell them, no, don't do that, or don't do this. Like, you might have something to say about what it is that they're going through, but you're not trying to force them into being something that they're not. You're giving them the space to be who they are, and you're not telling them that they have to change to be loved. You love them as they are, and that is something that they cherish. Like, it's not just admiration here. They really cherish your connection. But I do feel like there's something that's preventing them from saying it, because they don't want to create an uncomfortable situation. So maybe, you know, people in the same group, or like if it's family, like they don't want other family members to know that this is how they feel about you, or they don't want it to cause a rift between you and maybe other families or friends. Like, so they cherish you in secret, and they admire you in secret, and they do their best to be very nonchalant when they show up, and very unattached and unaffected and unbothered, even though it's like their heart is crying out for more connection and for more love from you. But they really respect you so much that it's like, if I get pile number 2 in my life for 15 minutes every other month, I'm going to take that. Because that is more. In that 15 minutes, I get more from pile number 2 than I get from people who spend 80 hours a week in my life every week. And that's why you're very precious to them. And this is not romance. This does not feel like romance at all. But this does feel like a very good support system between you and them. Something that maybe was lacking in both of your lives. And I feel like, for as much as they admire you, I feel like you love and admire them too. And maybe you have been vocal about it, and you don't expect them to be vocal about it either. I feel like for you, Pile 2 is just about vocalizing and communicating that, hey, I want to support you because I love you and I care about you and I don't want you to feel alone. But you're not over here like, well, they didn't say it back to me. Like, how dare they not say it back to me? That's not how you feel. This could be a Leo, a Sagittarius, or a Libra that you're dealing with. You could have Leo, Sagittarius, or Libra in your chart. In fact, you could have a Leo rising, Sagittarius moon, and be a Libra sun. That is really strongly coming in here. And it could be any mix of those 3 coming in. If not, that's okay. Yeah, the sun, Libra sun, is really strong coming in. Oh my goodness. So the sun in the reverse is really confirming what I was feeling earlier. Like, everybody around them that they go to makes them feel like they have to change in order to be accepted or in order to be seen. But you don't. You're not saying like, oh, this or oh, that. Like, the examples they're giving me, it's like weird, but it's like, oh, I need to change myself so that people will like me more. And everyone's like, that they're around is like, yeah, you really should do that. And they might say that to you, like, I need to change myself to be liked anymore. And you come through like, why do you need to be liked more? Why do you want to be anybody other than you are? And that is something that leaves them completely speechless. They're like, wait a second. I didn't look at it that way. Because everybody said that I should change. But you're telling me that I shouldn't worry about what everyone's thinking about. That's the type of energy that you give to them. So it does feel like this is someone who might be younger than you, or this is someone who got severely traumatized at a very young age, and you've been helping them to unwind that trauma just by your wisdom and your knowledge and your understanding of the world around you. And you're gifting that to them. It's like I said, this feels like a very cherished relationship between both of you. And they cherish you. This is not somebody who's going to out and say it. They feel very masculine energy to me. So they could be an air sign or a fire sign. We got that very clearly with the Aries or the Leo, the Sag, and the Libra energy. That's all masculine energy coming in. But they do not have to be a man. They can be non-binary. They can be a woman. They can be a girl, a boy, whatever, right? It doesn't matter. But I do feel very masculine. Like they've been very much in their masculine energy, no matter what they physically are in this life or what they identify with. They've been living in the masculine energy, trying to impress people and trying to carve a name for themselves. And yet you came in and with one the chisel and the hammer, you just went boink and it cracked everything that they had built their reality on. And what was underneath was the gem of who they were. And they had never seen that before until you came into their life. And it left them starting to question what kind of reality people are following when you came in and you just gave them this truth that was so profoundly simple, and yet no one else had seen it that way. And so they just really, 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 like I said, it's admiration, but more than anything, Pile 2, this is someone who cherishes you. They cherish you. Like if this is a family member, they cherish you. They cherish the connection that you guys have. Like they are so honored that you guys are family. If this is a friend, they are so honored that you guys are friends. This is someone who deeply cherishes you. One second. Okay. So let's get some more. Yeah, they definitely deeply cherish you. I love this. So we have fixed energy here. Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Stability, persistent, loyalty, and dependability. And I feel like they've been that for you as well. Like they've been a sense of stability in your life, dependability. So like when you reach out to them, they're there. They might not, have a ton of time, or you might not have a ton of time, but I do feel like you guys are both a source of stability in each other's lives. Yeah, house 1, individuality, self-image, and approach to life. This is someone who is wanting to be seen. Like they want to be seen by others. And we keep going back to that energy, like they wanted to be seen by the people that they know. They wanted to be seen by the people around them. But the main thing that they really secretly admire is how you're seen by others. You have given them a new meaning on how to approach life, and that it's not about being accepted or appreciated by others. It's learning how to appreciate and accept self. And that has impacted them in a very positive way. And painted stork. Look at this. Parenthood and caring for family brings much joy. So going back to this, could be a family member. Okay, this could be a family member. This could, and I feel like this is someone that's younger than you. They feel younger than you. Okay, but again, this could be trauma that happened when they were a child, and that's why they feel younger than you, because you're much more emotionally mature and emotionally stable, and you're giving them something to hold on to. You're helping them see a deeper truth that no one around them sees. And they really appreciate that. And I feel like you just making sure that they're okay, and like you reaching out and saying, hey, you know, I've been thinking about you. I want to make sure that everything's good for you right now. Or like, if you need to share anything with me, I'm here. That makes them feel so good, because I feel honestly, Pile 2, like you're the only person that does that for them. Even if they're surrounded by people, you're the only person that does that to them. And this is someone who may smile a lot, or they use humor as a cover-up for their pain. And they've been so used to using humor as a way to stay disconnected from people. Like I said, they're very attached to everyone. So like maybe for a while it took a long time for you to get close to them, because they were so detached. They just didn't seem like they wanted to connect, and something happened, and I feel like you both really found something that was common ground for you, or you just had a moment where you were able to converse without everybody bearing down on both of you, which could be why they're so detached, is because the people that have always been around them have forced them into a corner to be that way. That's what this really feels like. Yeah, bittern. We have outflank adversaries by keeping a low profile and less threatened. Outflank adversaries. They are surrounded by people who are trying to overshadow them all the time. And honestly, I feel like this is somebody who shares the spotlight with, again, I'm coming back to that twin energy, right? Like they share the spotlight with a sibling, or they have siblings that are very close to them, or they have friends that are like siblings. And so, you know, like if they have family, it's like their family appreciates their friends more than they appreciate them. And this is something that really, it's hurtful. It's hurtful for them, but you have never been like that. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me, Pile 2, if you appreciate them more than their friends, or if you appreciate them more than their siblings, because I feel like you guys are kindred souls. And it's just, it's not that there's a favoritism thing here. It's just, you know, sometimes you get along better with one person than you do everyone else. That's exactly what this is. And you guys get along like that. But also there's this element where I feel like both of you feel the need to hold back, because you don't want there to seem like there's favoritism, but it feels almost as if it's impossible to not have that, because of the connection that the two of you share. Interesting. Priest. So we have facilitates spiritual commitment, serves as a channel of spiritual energy. And the shadow is violates the trust of your spiritual community, seduced by your own spiritual role. So you could be in a spiritual community with them. Like that's where you could have met at, and they are getting information from you, and they look up to you because of that, and they admire you because of that. Or it's something about your spiritual approach to life, and it has inspired them to also take a similar step for their own life. So maybe you're super spiritual, and that's given them courage to become more religious or more affiliated, right? Or maybe you're really religious, and that's given them courage to become spiritual, or they're following in your footsteps, is what this feels like. They're trying to find their own answers in the way that best serves them. And they've been looking up to you as that guide. Yeah, so again, this does feel like someone that's younger than you. We have child nature. We have friendships with animals, communicates with nature spirits, and the shadow's tendency to abuse animals, people, and the environment. They've grown up in an incredibly harsh environment. It's been very difficult for them. And you are someone that gives softness to the world that they had grown accustomed to being harsh and difficult and hurtful. And that's something that makes them feel safe. And that's why they secretly admire you. Again, I feel like that's why it has to be secret, is because they don't want there to be favoritism. So maybe them talking about you all the time makes other people jealous. Or it makes other people question, like, when the heck did you get so close with pile number 2? Like, what's going on here? And the same thing with you, like if you talk about them all the time, like people are going to start asking questions, like as if it's inappropriate or as if it's just like, well, who gave you the right? You know, that's what this feels like. And I feel like you both are very acutely aware of the people you're surrounded by. And when it comes to this particular connection. And what I would suggest, pile number 2, is not to change anything that you're doing. Just always give them that leeway, like, I'm here for you. If you ever need me, I don't care what's going on with everyone else, I'll make space and time for you because I care about you that much. Like, just that energy in and of itself is going, I feel like this is going to lead down a highway eventually where the two of you are going to be as thick as thieves. It's like 2 peas in a far out pod, y'all, because you guys are building something and it's going to build over time and it's going to continue to build. And the support system, the stability that you have with each other is unshakable because you're either from the same soul tribe or you guys are kindred spirits and have spent many lifetimes together. And you guys both, it was like not an instant attraction or an instant connection. I feel like it's something that it was like a slow burning connection where at first it was just kind of standoffish and now it's turning into a roaring flame that cannot be stopped. Loneliness. Oh my gosh, my heart is breaking for this person. Oh, I know that I'm never alone. And that's, wow, this also came out in pile 1, and pile 1 is a totally different energy and completely different. But with this energy, it's just, it's interesting because that's exactly what they feel like. Like they might be surrounded by so many people, but they feel so alone. And you came in and you said, hey, guess what? You're not alone because you got me. You know, I'm stuck on you like glue. That's what it feels like for them. And they realize that you're genuine about the way that you approach them. Like you are giving this love and this compassion to them in a way that they've never received it. And especially, you know, having to fight for spotlight and family, like just time for affection, time for love. That's not fun for anybody. And I feel like that also might be why you guys are kindred spirits, is because maybe you had to go through that when you were growing up as well. So I feel like you're a guide for this person, and it feels like, honestly, pile 2, you're some sort of mentor to them in some way, shape, or form, regardless of your age difference. If there is any age difference, they look up to you like a mentor for sure. Yeah, passion. This is something that they also secretly admire, is your passion for life. Like you live life in an entirely different lane than anyone else. Like you're not rushing to be, you know, the 9 to 5. You're not rushing to be seen as your value is your money. You're not rushing to fit in with everyone else. Like none of that matters to you. And I feel like that completely baffled them for the longest time until it suddenly became an inspiration for them, because they tried everything that everyone else did. They tried living the rat race life, and then they saw you just leisurely taking your little stroll and stopping and smelling the flowers and picking up rocks that caught your attention and finding feathers everywhere you go. And they're like, what the heck, pile 2? What are you doing? And you're like, I'm living life. And they're like, that's not how people live life. And you're like, that's how I live life. Just like this. It's peaceful. It's not chaotic. It's slow. It's steady. And it's nourishing. And they're like, okay. And so they started one day to try it, and it worked for them. And they were like, what the heck? This is so much better than what I was trying to do before. Mercury, dive into the details. Yeah. So it's how you share this with them. I don't feel like you're forceful at all. I don't feel like any of that. I feel like you come in a very gentle, it's like a gentle breeze on a hot summer day, and you're the refresher for them. Neptune, get lost in the lavender haze. Yeah. So let's just compare Mercury and Neptune real quick. Like two vastly different ideas, two vastly different energies, right? It's like Mercury is all about the way we communicate, you know, making sure we're connecting with people and networking. And then you have Neptune, which is all about our dreams. Who do we want to be, and what do we want to create in this life, and letting ourselves be in the clouds, right? And so that's how you've communicated to them. It's okay for you to live life in the clouds, when before they didn't feel that way. They didn't feel safe being in that. And now they do. Envy. I am the same as everybody, but with different challenges. This is why you guys had a hard time connecting at the beginning. At some point, they were envious of you. They were envious of the way that you looked at life. But you're like an itch that no one can scratch. Sorry, it's just a funny way to come through, but that's how it's coming out. And so what it is, it's like you kept irritating them. They tried to force some sort of conformist energy on you, and you just kept growing and expanding and becoming more abundant and becoming more peaceful. And it was like nothing they did changed you. And then all of a sudden it was like, well, if I can't beat them, I'm going to join them. And then when they joined you, it was like their whole life got turned upside down in the most profound and poetic way. And now they're just along for this crazy ride. And that's why I feel like they secretly admire you. And I feel like the thing is, too, it's like, again, there's people around you guys where they can't just openly say how they feel about you. And I feel like, likewise, like, you can't really openly say how you feel about them. And I feel like it's because, like, there's just too many interferences. There's too many people who would just stick their nose in that and turn it into something that it doesn't need to be. And because you guys are acutely aware of that, like, you both cherish the moments that you have together. Yeah, anger. So this is the thing. I feel like this is someone who dealt with a lot of anger from the people that were in their life. That could have been where the envy came from as well. They've had a hard time, and you've taught them to change that anger into passion, which in turn has brought them into a state of peace. This is a whole new era for them. And that's why they admire you, because you actually transformed their lives. But what's funny about it is that you didn't do anything except by being you. But by you being you was enough to transform them. The vibration was so profound that it literally gave them the courage to try something different. Look at oh my gosh, here we go with the camera. Hold on. I have to stop it to fix it, because I don't know if it's not going to let me fix it. No, not right now, are you? Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, the zooming in and zooming out, zooming in, zooming out, zooming in, zooming out. It's like you help them see things differently. Like you help them zoom out of the picture while also zooming in. Dive into the details. Okay, so let's take a look at this card. I'm going to read this one from the book. Oh, we have the starfish. This makes me think of the other card that I have at starfish is open to the infinite possibilities. And that's what you've done. There's also, starfish have regeneration, right? So like if they lose, what do you call it, a limb? I don't know what you would call that. But if they lose a part of themselves, they can regenerate. Right? And I feel like that's just it. Maybe you've lost to each other in battles before, and both of you have regenerated. Like, there's something about the two of you that have helped each other grow. Like, I feel like they've helped you open your heart, and I feel like you've helped them open their eyes. It's a really profound connection. Okay, starfish. Beautiful, alluring, superficial, or shallow. Says a starfish is a natural and exquisite beauty, mesmerizing to all. Being around someone with starfish energy is a thrill, like you've been put under a spell of divinity itself. The problem is these creatures have been reliant on how they look and what other people think of them. Exactly. Didn't I say that? Like they always were worried about how other people thought of them for so long that they may have forgotten their deeper callings. When this card appears, it's important to ask, am I being swayed by outward appearances? What dreams have I put aside to please others? When in balance, they're uplifting, artistic, and expressive. When out of balance, their gossip or feel empty. To bring into balance, I cannot make this up. It says positive friends. Positive friends. Look at this right here. How profound is that? So synchronistic to the reading. Absolutely incredible. And that's exactly what it feels like. And this is who is secretly admiring you. I love this. I love this energy. I love that you're in their life. I love that they get to be in your life. Like, what a powerful connection the two of you have. And like I said, don't change anything right now. Just keep doing what you feel called to do, because it is impacting them in a very profound way. Every time you show up for them, it impacts them in a very, very deeply profound way. Okay, so pile number 2, if you felt like this was your reading, I know there's not a starfish emoji, but leave the little golden star emoji down below and say, by giving and sharing love, I inspire others to embrace and embody love within themselves. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, check out the description box. It will have everything you need. With that, I would like to take this moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this truly profound reading today. And until next time, pile number 2, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this dice with the 7th house on it, or perhaps you were called to this rock, or maybe you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be a reading on who secretly admires you. First, I'd like to say we're all here sharing this human experience together, and this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves. We do things differently here on this channel, so the message does happen to resonate with you. It would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you are interested in supporting the channel, you find everything you need down in the description box. Keeping in mind that triggering statements may arise on the reading itself. There's no obligation to force it to fit. However, triggers are a beautiful blueprint for us to deepen our healing journey. So with that, let's go ahead and get to it and find out who's secretly admiring you, pile number 3. Who is secretly admiring you, pile 3? Source, what would you like to share with us today? Okay, so we have the 3rd house. Interesting. Libra, and we have Venus. Okay, so this does feel like it could be a childhood friend. This could be someone that you've known for your whole life, a sibling, so a brother or a sister. This could also be I'm just going to have to bring it up because it is coming through, a twin flame, which is interesting because if you watched one of the other piles, we talked about a twin, not a twin flame, but an actual twin, someone who's a twin, so identical or fraternal. So just putting that out there, you might have come from one of the other piles, and that's perfectly fine. So with this energy, who's secretly admiring you? It is someone who knows you pretty well or thinks that they know you pretty well. It's also someone who is a bit superficial. They are very driven by the outside world. What they see in the physical, what they believe to be in the physical, and they're driven by material gain. So this is someone who is very connected to the matrix, if you will, and is doing their best to create stability of some sort based on money. This is not spiritual stability. This is someone who bases it on money, bases all their life on money. But they do secretly admire you, and I feel like one of the things that they really admire about you, pile 3, is your ability to love and appreciate and value yourself, and how consistent you are. You found some sort of balance in your life. And that is something that they admire, because for them, it's difficult to balance anything because they're constantly chasing. Chase, 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 never achieving, constantly chasing, constantly moving. And for you, that's not how you are. I feel like you receive a lot, and you've learned how to be in that energy of receptivity. And this person secretly admires that. They don't know how to do it, but they do secretly admire you for that. I also feel like this person is very gullible, and so they fall susceptible to gimmicks and, just lies that people tell. Like people trying to give them a piece of iron and tell them it's gold. They fall for stuff like that a lot. And it's because they're so busy chasing this illusion of stability as money. Got my mind on my money and my money on my mind. Okay. They could be a Taurus. They could be a Libra. A Libro? Yeah, they could be a Libro, whatever that is. Okay. They could be a Libra, or they could be a Gemini. They could have Gemini in the 9th houses coming in. They could have Pisces and Venus. They could have Libra in the 10th house, or Libra North Node or South Node, which would give them an Aries North or South Node. Okay, there are two red cardinals outside my window right now. One of them would fly up and the other one would then jump. And they were like dancing with each other. It's two of the males, because the males are the red ones. There's a whole bunch of females now too, but yeah. Oh, now he's outside the window. It looks like there's one of them chasing him away here. Interesting. Cardinals are like family members in the spiritual realm, and so they're also our family members just thinking about us. So they could be family or someone that considers you like family. They don't have to be, or you don't have to either. I feel like this is someone who acts very haughty or very arrogant, and they did that to chase you away. But they were hoping that you'd keep coming back. Yeah, this is okay. Who's secretly admiring pile number 3 source? Pile 3, who's secretly admiring you? A lot of 7s. Definitely a spiritual connection here. Here's the thing. With these 2 cards, I feel like you had to let them go. I feel like you had to. You had to say enough's enough with this person. Whoever they are. The thing is that you realized you were hitting a brick wall with this person. You realized that things weren't going to go anywhere. They weren't going to pan out. So like if it was a romantic connection, you had to let go. You had to, yeah. Because it was just creating a lot of feelings of not being enough. Like a lot of blockages here. A lot of hardships. They didn't have much to offer. But I feel like also in letting them go, you overcame one of your biggest fears. And that was fear of maybe not being enough, fear of not getting what it is that you wanted, or fear of abandonment. Whatever it was here. There's a huge fear that you had to face in letting them go. And they're admiring you from afar. I don't feel like there's contact here. I don't feel like they're like you guys connect with each other. You could, but it just doesn't feel like that. But this is something that you've persevered through. This is something you had to learn how to gather strength to overcome. And that makes sense. If this is a twin flame energy coming in, that does make sense. And for those of you that have been on my channel for any amount of time, you know what I talk about when it's with twin flames. We need to stop trying to romanticize twin flames and really just look at what the truth is. What are they bringing into our life? Because it is a spiritual connection. It's not necessarily meant to be a romantic connection. And I know that's not what everybody wants to hear, but they're here to teach us to grow. And sometimes they do that in very unique and unruly ways. And we have to open up to that growth and let that growth be a leading part on our journey instead of focusing on this person, instead of focusing on the outcome of this connection, because that's what we get so obsessed with. And I feel like this is something that you may have realized along the way. There's a lot of struggle here. There was a lot of fighting. And fighting just, it feels like push and pull. That's what this feels like. There was no certain outcome here. And you had to endure so that you could just keep your position in this very conflicting situation. And your endurance actually gave you what you needed to persevere over this when the reality set in. Some sort of reality set into the mind here, and you realize, like, this is just not worth it for me. I cannot keep doing this. I cannot keep giving in this way. I cannot keep fighting for this in this way. Like, I deserve someone to come and be there and walk this journey beside me. I'm not meant to just keep fighting for someone to come in. And it's interesting that this would come out on this reading, because I do feel like someone needs to hear this for sure. But the thing is that right now, who's secretly admiring you is they have a very narrow perception of the world. And in their eyes, you idolize them, and they really like that. They were like, yeah, that's right. Pile 3 idolizes me, and I feel like I'm this big bad wolf in the block, and I want to keep feeling like that, and I don't want that to go away. And so they kept acting pretty disconnected. And hello, bird. A little finch just came and landed on the window and was hanging on the window. So birds could really mean something to you as well. Like, that could be when you feel like you're connecting with them, or like they're communicating with you. Like, I feel like there's been a lot of hostility between you and them, and maybe not on their part, or maybe on their part in you and not on your part. And so, you know, take it as it resonates. But I do feel like there's been a lot of hostilities between the two of you. Like, you both have blamed each other for losses, for hurts, for pains, for this. And is it right or wrong? No, it's not about being right or wrong. It's just that's what has happened along the way. And I feel like for you specifically, it was about peace of mind. And realizing that this was a lot of effort to be putting into something for a lost cause, right? Nothing's panning out. And nothing seems to be coming together. In fact, it seems like they're getting further and further away. I know everybody in the spiritual community is like, just trust Source, just trust Source. But look, Source did not put us here to suffer for connection. Okay, that was never the idea, is that we suffer so that we can have this romantic connection that defies all explanation, that defies all kinds of realities and this, that, and the other. Source created this connection so that we could begin to come back to ourselves, to come back home to Source. And in coming home to Source, we then are gifted an opportunity to connect with someone who has also done the same on their journey. And that is the blessing that we receive from that. Is it going to be this person? Maybe. Is it promised that it's going to be this person? Nah, only a fool thinks they know everything. So I'm not going to say yes or no, because it's different for everybody. But we can't always assume that our journey is going to be exactly like everybody else's, or that everybody knows what's going to happen with our journey. But staying open-minded here is vital. And I feel like the problem is right now is that this person is closed-minded, and they're not seeing you as the blessing that you are. They're rather seeing you as, you stroke my ego and you make me feel good. And that's that superficiality coming through. It's really overwhelming. They've hesitated. They've dropped the ball when it came to you so many times. Okay, they are thinking like, oh, the more achievements that I have, the more I can stack up, the more that pile 3 is going to like me, and the more they're going to idolize me. And so this is someone who just wants to be seen in the state of their ego, especially with the sun here in the reverse. Like, they don't want to be in the light. They like getting their ego stroked. They like feeling like, oh yeah, that's right. Pile 3 will do anything for me. Pile 3 will wait until the ends of time for me. And they've tested that theory many times, and I feel like many times you've gone back, but there does feel like there was one time that broke the camel's back, or if not yet, there's going to be a time that breaks the camel's back, and you're going to be like, no more. I'm not going to show up anymore. I can't do this, right? This is misery. This feels like misery. Do they admire you? Yeah, they admire you. They admire you. But the thing is that we can't even focus on why they admire you or, anything like that, because they're so connected to their ego right now, and they just want to be, they want you to inflate their ego. And that could be the only reason that they admire you, is because you inflated their ego for so many times, or because you've told them that you love them and they can't believe that someone like you would ever love them. Or they admire you because you are getting better and you are evolving and you are growing. But for them, it's not about growth. It's about their ego. And so we see here that you've had to leave the situation. We see here that you had to overcome a situation that was very hopeless. They are very narrow-minded right now. And we have to leave them in their narrow-mindedness, because that can swallow us whole if we allow it to. Rather, we just kind of have to wish them good luck on their journey and hope that they find their path of highest alignment and find their path back to self. Right? Because the more that they connect with their ego and the more that they're driven by their ego, the further away from self they get. And so for you, you've been on the journey to self and learning more about that as the time goes by. But this person is incredibly connected to the matrix. They're only worried about money. They're only worried about what they can achieve. They don't have much to offer you. Okay, and there's a lot of neglect when it comes to your relationship or your connection. They do not give back to you what you give to them. They never have, and it's not looking like in the near future they're going to. Like, this is someone who just, they see you and they're an opportunist, and so they want you to fulfill whatever it is that they want for their, whatever they got going on right now. Yeah, fire. Interesting. So it could be an Aries, Leo, Sag. Confidence, optimism, passion, and bravery. Like, so, I mean, they do admire you, but I also feel like this is just, they've been burned so many times in life and you didn't burn them. But now I feel like they burned you. And that's what, with the fire coming out, that's what this feels like. It just feels like getting burned time and time again. Like, you've shown up, you've tried to show them you're a stable connection. Like, you've tried to show them that you're loyal to them. You've tried to show them, kindness and compassion, but it's never been returned. And at what point is enough enough? And I've said this on other readings, especially love readings that I do. Love is not enough, and it will never be enough. And we need to stop thinking that love is enough, because if we have love, you can have love and have disrespect. You can have love and have abuse. Right? And you might not see it that way, or you might not believe it, but that's true. It's just something that does exist. Someone can say, oh, I do these things because I love you. And while they can be coming from a state of fear, yes. But isn't it equally so if we're holding on to something without surrendering it? We're holding on from a state of fear, even though we're doing it out of love. So it's hard not to see it that way, right? It's hard to look at it from this objective place where it's like, oh, but it's only fear driven. Right? But it doesn't mean that love doesn't exist there. Love isn't enough, though. We need respect. We need honor. We need integrity. We need honesty. We need consistency. We need this showing up, not running away. And that's something that, it's when you find somebody that matches that energy with you, it's a lot different. Love is not something that you need to fight for. Love is something that you can fall into in a state of ease when it's allowed, and when you both allow. There's no possession, there's no obsession, there's no control, there's no trying to change each other. There's no trying to be heard over one another because neither one of you want to open up to the other, or both of you are too stubborn. That's none of that exists. Those are all very toxic situations, but we've turned love into, the harder we have to fight for love, the deeper it means. And that's not true. That's just a toxic connection, no matter how we look at it. I'm not saying the spiritual side of twin flame doesn't exist. It does. I've experienced it myself, but there's something much deeper to having a twin flame than having a romantic connection with them. Because the romantic connection that you're building should be between you and source. And there's no one on this earth that can ever match that. Because that is the highest divine love that will ever exist. And then from that, there's the blessing and the gift of a partner, someone who walks beside you. Not in front of you, not behind you, but someone who walks beside you. And you both walk beside each other and become better versions of yourself as you go and grow with each other and build consistency and stability in this realm. Yeah, house 4. I'm not surprised here. Cultural and family roots, home, peace, and comfort. So this is something too that has been a very codependent situation with the 4th house coming in. There's a lot of codependency that is oozing from this person. And I feel like for you, I feel like pile 3, I feel like this is something you're getting through. You're definitely getting through it. It has its ups and downs. Look, there's no one that's going to get it perfect on the first try. And there's a lot of people who don't get it perfect on the 1000th try, right? It's not about perfecting it. It's about just learning how to get through it. And that's okay. So let's get some more out here. Okay, thank you. On the bottom, yeah, this came out in another pile. And just really quickly, if you've watched all 3 piles, leave a purple heart down below. You are a part of my Purple Heart Club. It's for those of you that chose to spend the entire reading with me. I'm truly thankful that you're here. And if you're here for pile 3 alone, I still truly appreciate you. And I'm honored that this message is here for you today. And I'm more honored that your time and space you've given to me. So thank you. So we have ruby-throated hummingbird. Take courage and the world will reward you with bounty. And sometimes courage is walking away from what everybody says it should be. And instead walking into what we know in our hearts to be true. Not what our ego wants, but what our spirit's asking us. And I feel like that's something that's really profound for you. And sometimes, you know, these messages are not easy. They're not, but they can help heal us in such a deep way because it reminds us that there's so much more that we can learn. There's so much more that we don't know. And the more that we open up to the possibilities and the probabilities of life, the more we can let go of thinking that we need it only one way in order to be satisfied. So we have father energy here, talent for creating and supporting life, positive guiding light within a tribal unit. And the shadow is dictatorial control, abuse of authority. So someone's trying to control the outcome of this connection. I'm not going to say it's you because I don't feel like it is you. I do feel like you're trying to do everything that you can to open up this connection so that it'll come to fruition. But I feel like really this person that secretly admires you is the one that's trying to control every aspect of this situation. And I feel like through your healing, you're learning that you deserve somebody that's supporting you, not somebody that is trying to use you for their own egoic inflation. Who's secretly admiring pile number 3? We have imagination. I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. So this feels like a message from source to really focus on creativity right now. What makes you feel good? What makes you feel like you're, being of service? Using your imagination right now. Also connecting with your imagination can help give you even deeper insight into this connection if that's what you're looking for. And I feel like right now, though, it's about really coming back to that connection with source, between you and source, coming back to your guides, coming back to your ancestors, getting that help, because there's something here that feels amiss and it doesn't feel really aligned with you right now. You're growing and expanding, and this feels very stagnant. This is a very stagnant person, okay? Yeah, health. I will honor the physical vessel that enshrines my soul. Making sure you're taking care of yourself, your health as well. And your emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical health are all very important, very, very necessary for this journey. So taking care of your entire body, right? And when you're worrying about situations like this, or when you're only focused on this situation, it's creating a lot of stress. You can't focus on your own growth. You can't focus on your own journey. Okay. Creativity. Again, creativity, right? Imagination with creativity here. So I'm going to leave this out because I feel like that's really synchronistic here. Also with them both being purple, this feels like a direct message from source coming through the crown chakra. We have happiness underneath that, right? Finding what makes you happy. Okay, there's something here where I feel like at times you're really worried about this person, or you're really focused on this person, and you're not focusing on yourself. And please don't beat yourself up for that, because we all do it. Okay, like especially for those of us that feel that we're twin flames, you know, that's something that we've all have done, and we've all had to learn how to surrender that. And we are all in the process of learning how to surrender that. You know, we're all at different stages. So please don't compare yourself to anybody at this point. And also don't beat yourself up. You know, let yourself experience what you need to experience, and honor the emotions that you're feeling. And if there's a trigger that arises, honoring that too, right? Like if you're saying, well, I can't live without this person, that's a trigger. That's a trigger. You're saying, I can't exist without this person in my life. And that's not true. That's an illusion, and digging into that will help you let go, and it will help you step even closer to a state of surrender. And remember, we're not surrendering so that we can invite the romantic connection in. We're surrendering because it's a part of this process. That's where we need to switch the thought process on the twin flame journey, is not surrendering so we can invite in the romance. Romance is oftentimes not, it's not really what love is. Right? Love is free. And actually, I just recently, not too long ago, I think it was from the day, okay, it was 2 days ago today that I'm recording this. That would be, I don't know, it was like the 19th. It was either the 19th or the 18th. If you check out my community posts, I posted a video by Alan Watts. And it's the 6 steps to knowing and understanding what love is. Check that out. It's a very profound video, and not everybody is going to get it. Not everybody's going to understand that. But I feel like the seeds that he plants are incredibly powerful. And it's just a reminder that love is not at all what we think it is. So on the bottom, we have Pluto. Go all in, baby. Time for you to take care of yourself. The transformation comes when you reclaim your power. When you claim your right to be seen and loved and supported as you are. Not as someone else sees you, but as you are. Ancient wing. Dare to be the first. Dare to be different. What a synchronicity to come out. So it's just asking you to go against the grain here. And that feels uncomfortable. It feels safe. What everyone says, oh, it's the greatest romance of all time. That feels safe because it's easy to buy into romance. Everybody wants that. We all want that. It's like sex sales, romance sales. And I've said this many times. But it's not about the romance. Dare to be different. Dare to look at it for what it could potentially be in your life, which is a spiritual opportunity of a lifetime. Not a romantic opportunity of a lifetime, but a spiritual connection and a spiritual opportunity of a lifetime. Messiah. Interesting. We have serving humanity with humility. The shadow is exaggerated belief that you are the only means through which a cause can succeed. So coming into this place of teaching others through love, through light, through understanding, through understanding. And that is something that they may also secretly admire you about, is because you do that already. But I feel like more than anything, this feels like a message from Source to you. There's the horn. For what you're going through when it comes to this person. Success is yours. And remembering that success is different for everybody. Okay? But success is yours. You're going to have success. And I feel like success coming in, especially with it being in the orange, is the sacral chakra healing. This is reminding you that you're going to have success in life. But opening up to what it is that Source is bringing in for you, and knowing that Source knows better for you than what our ego does, right? Descendant. 2 is better than 1. You know, it feels like you shook an agreement with this person. We're shaking hands. We had an agreement. This was our agreement. And sometimes the agreement it doesn't go to plan, right? And that's okay. I feel like sometimes we just have to realize it's like we had a plan. We wanted it to happen this way. It didn't happen that way. But we can embrace that and understand that that's okay. And so the main thing here, though, is to come back to your creativity for yourself. Wow. Okay, so let's take a look at this card. I'm going to read this from the book. We're going to see what it says. The Cosmic Egg. There's a rebirth here for you. A huge rebirth. All right, Cosmic Egg, where are you at? I can't. Okay. Completion, harmony, the infinite within the finite. It says the Cosmic Egg is the final card in the journey of this deck. And it represents the unfolding of the cosmic consciousness, right? That reconnection with source, coming back to self. This state emerges after we have tread the path for quite some time, and through self-effort and grace, we experience self-realization. I can't make this up. This is about coming back to self. Wow. A sense of contentment and oneness spontaneously arises within us, and the veils of our self-limiting beliefs are lifted. When the essence of the Cosmic Egg has not been activated, we may feel as if we will never get there, or that we travel alone, disconnected from others. Even if our encounter with this card is brief, appearing as a momentary glimmer or a flash of interconnectedness, its potent energy stays with us. The Cosmic Egg is a remedy for the fragmentation of modern life. It's through the power of this card that we are reminded of the cosmic contract written at the beginning. What was I saying? You signed a contract? Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for this confirmation, Source. Written at the beginning. We hold on to life and life holds on to us. The journey is complete, but it does not end. And well, here we go again with the synchronicities. The Cosmic Egg and the 7th chakra, which is the crown chakra or the Sahasrara. The subtle essence of the Cosmic Egg resides at the crown chakra at the top of the head, called Sahasrara. One of the aims of yoga and meditation practice is to channel energy from the base of the spine upward towards the Sahasrara. Each of the 6 lower chakras plays an important role along the journey, and once the final epicenter of consciousness is activated, it is said to radiate the light of 1,000,000 suns. Right, so you're growing, you're becoming enlightened, you're changing your life. You are a completely different person than this person could have ever even imagined. They dug it when you were giving them the ego boost that they thought that they needed. That was part of the contract that you guys had signed before you came to life. But now that contract is ending. And I'm not saying that they're no longer your twin or whatever like that. That's not what it is. It's just the contract of you being their egoic support is ending. And you're now re-entering a contract with source energy. And this is very, very powerful. In fact, I feel so light right now. I feel so the only way I can say how I feel is it's very airy. I feel grounded, but I feel very airy right now because I feel very light. It's a really gentle love that's coming in, and I feel like it's just this rebirth through having gone through the trials of the serpent is coming in. And so that's going to mean something to someone here. I also feel like this is a reminder that through this growth, it was never about connecting with this person through a physical relationship as much as it was learning how to connect spiritually to your creator and understanding that, especially with Messiah coming in. This was about opening your heart to the deeper truths of your own journey without having it bogged down by the romance of the situation, but rather opening up to the truth of the spirituality behind it. And that's why your reading went the way that it did, because Source had a much more important message for you than really why this person is so secretly admiring you. They're going to always admire you because you are a beautiful energy. You have so much to offer and you have so much to give to the world. And people heal from your love. They heal from your light. They heal from what you trigger within them. And naturally, it hurts at first, but then it feels better, and it's almost like a drug. They want to come back and they want to get more. But that's also the safety net for you that Source says that many times you're one and done thing. You come in and you trigger such a deep healing within others that's all for now, right? That's all, folks. And your safety is that you get moved around from person to person or situation to situation and place to place. And while it may seem like a curse, it's actually a humongous blessing because you are literally infiltrating the darkness from a place of untapped potential of light. And the darkness cannot stand the light that you have. And so it fights back in various ways, and it definitely makes people dig into their ego, but eventually things start to fall apart and fade away. And it's because you're planting these seeds. And for you, everybody you meet admires you. Whether they love you or hate you, they still can't help but admire you because you're so deeply connected to home. And for you to come back closer to home is the most important thing. It's not about the relationship. And I know romance is something that we all strive for, or there's a huge portion of us that we're striving for it. But ultimately, this earthly journey, while having love is a blessing, it's not the only blessing that we can have. And I feel like for you, when you open up to that, then the person who's going to walk with you and support you in the way that you need, pile 3, whether it's this person or whether it's someone new, they're going to emerge. But it's as you come back closer to yourself, closer to home, closer to this connection with Source, okay? So you're doing an amazing job, and I hope you truly appreciate yourself because you are literally a once-in-a-lifetime energy. You will never be the same as you are, even if you have another life incarnate here, and there has never been somebody like you up until now. So you truly are a unique gift given to the world, and trust that. So this is what I see here for you today, pile 3. If you felt like this was your reading, leave the little egg emoji down below and say, I am rebirthed into a new, infinite, loving version of myself, brought here to shake the world up into a state of change. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box. So that being said, I want to take a moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angels, Source, and my spirit guides for coming together today to give us this incredibly powerful message, truly profound. And until next time, pile number 3, stay human.